I mean, really, when it comes down to it, you guys played defense in the fourth quarter.
We did. Yeah, we obviously we didn't like the second quarter very much at all, and that's what our focus of the video was at halftime. We got out efforted, and on the defensive end, which is just not acceptable. It's not something we can do, and I thought the second half we really brought it on that side, and then like you said, in the fourth quarter to close out the win, we had to play with our defense.
You knew that it was gonna be difficult without Fee, and Washington's a very game team. But I mean, it was maybe not pretty, but it was very gritty. Didn't you think of your team to kind of withstand some runs without their leader being able to play?
For sure, yeah, and getting easy opportunities, missing them, that can really deflate you. What I was appreciative of was that third quarter when they took the lead, like you said, just. And we've done it all season long. I mean, we respond, and even without Fee, they were pretty good on the bench about what needed to happen. I thought our bench helped us in the third. Thought we got some quality play momentum that we wanted from Diamond. We got Peely getting her feet wet, and some player hadn't played very much. Then all of a sudden gets thrown. That's the WNBA. You got to be ready for your moment, and so we talked about we got to be the collective. It's a group. And Courtney's game was exactly what we needed. She needed to be aggressive and sort of make up for some of the lack of scoring. She passed it. She play make. That's what she does. She play makes. But yeah, it was gritty, ugly, all those things. But it's a W. There's no asterisk next to it.
Coach, you just touched on Elisa Peely kind of getting her feet wet, being thrown into the game. And I believe in the beginning of the fourth quarter, she hit a three, and it put you guys up one. But after that, you guys hit two more shots in a row.
Yeah.
So during her, I believe it was just over 10 minutes, what did you see from her on the floor that you liked?
Yeah, again, just getting in the game and a hard game, when it hasn't been decided yet, learning experiences. She was very engaged, had questions, sort of like you're teaching on the fly type thing. And I think she's in a confident place, probably more confident than what we saw in the preseason when we played Washington. So I think she's ready for an opportunity, right? Those guys have been sitting over there for a while and better part of the season. And so I think she's anxious to try to seize the moment and help our team however she can. And that's what I saw from her. And just learning help responsibilities, when to help, when not to help. Video really helps that. So just having her on the floor, experiencing it, late in the game, we had a play call in, and, maybe Courtney didn't, necessarily do, what she was supposed to do. So just telling her how to handle that, like if you're a big, especially with someone such gravity that she has, just running up on somebody and setting a ball screen is going to be good for the offense. Once it breaks down, you're breaking a play to make a play. Just learning those moments. She thought something was going to happen, it didn't, so she just stood. So just moments like that where you learn. So very receptive, and again, I think she's excited to help the team however she can.
2 days ago, we were just talking about how Elena Smith was on a tear for her three-point shooting, and today she goes 0 for 3, but she still has her impact on the game, pulls in 8 rebounds. And then also you got Bridget, I believe she's third in the league in three-point percentage. She comes in, hits 3 threes. So what is just the depth in the lineup, even though you're out without Fee and Elena's still struggling, you still have others that just kind of fill in and take over?
Yeah, Lan was struggling just overall how she felt. I told her I appreciated her playing and gutting it out the way that she did because she wasn't well. And the 2 blocks that she had were huge. So she's a competitor, didn't hang her head when, you miss shots that is so deflating. She's a battler. And Bridget, I thought Bridget really responded at halftime. We just told her what we needed. And just like with Bridget, we say she always, whatever you ask her to do, she's going to do it. And I thought she gave us an aggression about us in the third quarter that we were lacking earlier. And then her playing the 4, guarding Aaliyah Edwards, guarding Dolson, just kind of doing whatever was necessary, and we just appreciate that about Bridget, and She made some big shots like she's been doing all season. So I think for Land to be subpar and like just, again, without Fee and that sort of thing, as we kind of experience that for the first time, we'll take the win, and there's certainly lots to build on.
So Steph Dolson hits that little shot, and they're up 2 in the fourth, and then you guys scored 7 straight. Dorca's only points of the night on
Yeah.
a second chance opportunity.
Yeah,
Courtney barely beating the shot clock.
yeah.
Right, and then Kayla obviously with her big
Yeah.
3. I mean, that kind of talks about what this game's about. You get some bench help, you're some veteran help, and then obviously
Yep.
you're one of your big 2 hits. I mean,
Yep.
you just talk about that stretch and how it maybe
Yeah.
changed the game.
Exactly like you said. And that's what those guys get paid to do. Dorca finding that success, after we had just gotten scored on, getting that easy opportunity. She'll get more and more. That's another player that's, a little bit like Diamond. They're just trying to find their way. Even they played last year so much, it's hard. It's hard to be in the roles that they're in. And but Dorca, that was a big bonus for us. And obviously, came back hitting the shot at a right time. She had gone through a bit of a drought after, I think getting off to a good start, and then finding a wide open shot. That's what she gets paid to do. And then Court, her aggression and making that tough shot late. It was timely. It's what we needed. It was like the second group, or the mix of the group, had to get us to a certain point, so that we could have those guys finish the game in a way that they weren't, just so gassed that they couldn't make those plays. So that was big.
Coach, you touched on this briefly when talking about Peely's play tonight, but on being ready when your number's called, there's not a ton of games where you get to put every available player in the game in the first half. How valuable is it as a coach to be able to sort of see those in-game minutes early in the game from, top to bottom of the roster in a tight game like this?
Yeah, it's valuable. Certainly for the players, I think, in terms of their sort of mental and wanting opportunities and to get those moments. A shorter roster, sort of forces you into that, right? And so I think it's good for them. It's good for their morale overall. It's good for the first group, to be able to, collect some minutes from the bench, and, hopefully we'll keep growing in that area.
And you've talked a lot about, Chechi's maturity and just reliability.
Yeah.
It felt like this was a night where just steady shot making was really felt, especially with how tight the game was and how tough baskets were coming at certain points.
Her physical toughness was again, with things that we didn't see maybe as a younger Chechi. Her recognition, her drive was huge. Her drive into the clock. We needed that penetration. And she's just really confident. And she's a terrific offensive player, who's just got this level of confidence. It's not just shooting threes. It's play with her back to the basket, get a shot off. It's the drive that she made. She's proven to be a pretty valuable part of our team.
Coach, it seems like we're talking about every other player but Kayla. I mean, she had a quiet 17, and it seemed like she impacted the game in other areas more than just her scoring, despite her 17 points. So just talk about what you saw from her today.
You said despite her 17 points, and she's averaging a career high, so kind of getting her average, close to her average, was important for us. Making half her threes and make overall half her shots. Her leadership, just everything we needed from Kayla in Fee's absence. So basically the sole captain on the floor. Her toughness, her, don't give in when things were going, sort of south, especially in that second quarter. She was somebody that, we could look to for leadership and a level head. And K-Mac had a very good game. So it wasn't quiet to me. It might have felt quiet to you guys, but it was not quiet to me.
Courtney in the fourth quarter kind of
Yeah.
grabbed the team a couple times and brought them into
She
a
did.
huddle. I just wonder if you could speak on how that head coach lead guard relationship telepathy is working out so far.
I don't know what she was saying, but I do know, when she gets like that, we're in a really good place where she's really wanting to be the leader and huddle it and, sort of talk to them about what needed to happen. Like I've heard her, when I go back and watch some games, I've seen her in the huddles and telling them they got to lock in, maybe something that just happened. And, what's the next offensive play, which is great for Courtney because that's a real growth point for her. She sort of lost the battle of the clutch free throws that we've been talking about with her. Earlier in the season, we put our reset play in and we put Courtney in the backcourt, basically out of the way. And she said, "Coach, I can shoot free throws, right?" And I said, "Well, let's go look at this," because all of our positioning is rooted in the data. And we shared with her what her clutch free throw shooting was. And she had an opportunity tonight to change that, and she clanked both of them. So we got a good laugh out of that. Not funny, but your point guard necessarily is not going to be in that situation. But that's something that Courtney is so competitive. In that moment, I think at some point it's going to show itself in a big way for us because she's that competitive when she's in that situation again. I bet she makes two.
Lana Smith got announced to the Australian team.
Yes.
What's it going to be like coaching against her?
Well, I don't know what the final Australia team looks like, but as we know, Lan plays with this level of toughness and compete. It'll be hard. I guess that's probably like a better way of saying it. She's a competitor on a world stage, playing for the Opals. They're hard to play against, and Lan will be a big reason why.
Two quick questions. One, it looked like you were tempted at least a couple times earlier in the game to challenge a call, but didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was pretty important that you didn't, because when you finally did get a challenge, it was a pretty big one and a pretty big change. Can you? Were you close to using that up earlier?
Yes and no. The restraint, because it's hard. You get pretty emotional about it, and you think what you saw. You look at the video, or the replay. The more overturned call is the out of bounds, and that's the better, showing restraint in that case, because the referees are the overturn rate on the fouls. It's just a lot tougher, even though we were sure what we saw. They're like aliens. You don't know what the hell that they're like. They say what they saw, and you're like, I have no freaking idea what it was.
Headline: Reeves officials are aliens.
So yeah, you just try to go show some restraint, and it felt like we were going to need a challenge in this game, so it worked out.
Last question: you shoot 38%, but you had 10 more shots than they
Yeah.
did because you had 13 offensive rebounds. That has not always been the storyline this year,
Right?
but without those 10 extra shots, you probably don't win this game.
For sure. No, that's what we told them. Those extra possessions, the battling, even on the defensive rebounds, we had an 81% defensive rebound effort. So offensive rebounds were great, but we had an 81% defensive rebound effort, and that was, it was like someone like Chechi. Maybe she didn't get possession, but tipping it, and getting it out where we could go get possessions. But you hit the nail on the head. Without the rebounding battle, we probably don't win the game.
We'll take our final question from Michael on the Zoom.
Yeah, Coach Reeve. I know with Fee's injury, sometimes rest is the best remedy. Sometimes I'm just wondering how you balance with the 4 games you have left, and then having her ready for the Olympics. And if you've talked to her about that, or how you balance.
Yeah, it's certainly on our minds. There's no way that I'm going to sit here and say that we're not considering that. We certainly are. I think the situation that she's in, it's best for us to just kind of take it day by day. This is something she's used to dealing with. At the same time, she has goals, and we've always felt like doing right by the players, especially in this situation. Balancing if it's good for her to go, and do that, then we'll look at that, and if it's not, and it's in the name of being ready for when we have a chance to get the national team together. But we're just going to evaluate that. It's obviously too soon. We've got a couple weeks. And just keep evaluating and let the medical team and Fee put the work in that's necessary. Obviously, Fee will work her tail off and do what's necessary. There's nobody better in the business than Chuck Barter and his team. So just gotta let it happen. Whatever it is, and I'll just check in every day and see where it's at.